All right, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave. This is a channel I call Tulsiology. It is the study of all things Tulsi Gabbard. Most of the time we talk about Tulsi. Couple of housekeeping notes here. The channel continues to lose subscribers. Maybe because I decided to come out of the closet and tell everybody I voted for Trump. I had Stacey Hainline on. She also voted for Trump, or will be voting, I think, in person for Trump tomorrow. I get it, guys. You don't like that. You don't like it. After it's over, we can heal and mend fences. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. I've slipped below 7,000. Maybe I'm not, the most exciting person to watch these days. There's a lot of commentary going on out there, and I understand that your time is valuable. But also, if you want to support the channel, there's a link to Patreon. Best way to do it. You can do it for like $1 a month, $2 a month. It's important. It's important if you can do that. What's going to happen? I don't know. Here's what I do know. The control of the system, who has control? Think about who has control. It's pretty easy. And most Tulsi-crats get it. I put it in three places. I put it with government bureaucrats. These are appointed career politicians that should be fired or terminated when a new president walks in. But now what the media does is they protect all these people and say, oh no, these are public servants. They cannot be terminated. You got Jimmy Carter appointees in there or something. They need to get booted out. I'm sorry. It's done. You've been there for 50 years. You need to go. Government bureaucrats. Some people call it the deep state. Some people just call it, the military-industrial complex. Not just the military people. These are people in the intelligence industry, the counterintelligence industry, the propaganda industry. Why do you think? We invented propaganda, and Germany got it from us. And now I've never seen a media so in lockstep with one candidate. And I'm sorry, if you think that Donald Trump gets positive press and Joe Biden gets negative press, then you're from Mars, okay? And I'm not a rank partisan. You can see it. You can't ignore it. Guys like Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi, they've even said the left has become completely unhinged during this election, and Trump is the reason that they're unhinged. So voting for Trump to me was like another act of rebellion. I don't agree with everything. Trump on foreign policy, I wish he'd really cool it. He's not really cooling it. I wish he would reduce the military budget. He could bring a lot of that money home, but he's playing that neocon game with getting the natural resources and trying to remake other countries in our image. Really? Right now you want to make a country over in our image? That's like Frankenstein. That's what the country would look like. You want to go into Venezuela? Yeah, I don't know if Trump wins, if that green lights all of these things that he's just put on hold for that stuff, or he goes in and says, hey, doesn't matter now. I'm a lame duck. So what I'm going to do is tell you to knock it off. So we don't know. If Biden wins, it's full. I keep telling people they don't care. You don't care that we're just going to, we'll ramp up military operations? Has Joe Biden talked about reducing the military budget? Of course not. He's going to take that well-tuned Donald Trump ready-to-go war machine and crank it up a few notches. The instinct that Trump has is to be kind of like a little like Switzerland, but Switzerland is truly neutral. We're not. We're still running all over the place. But other than the corporate bureaucrats, all right, other than the government bureaucrats, rather, you've got the corporate bureaucrats. So you've got corporations, government bureaucrats, and the media. And you could say, without being flippant or sort of I don't know, without you could basically say that they're the three branches of government right now. Corporations, all right, write this down because it's that good. Corporations, government bureaucrats, and the media. Those are the three branches of government. And those three, I want to call them institutions, they create all the media you consume most of the day. They create controlled opposition. They will allow somebody like me to talk for a while. But if I become, that's why my subscriber count keeps going down. If I become successful at this and people want to hear what I have to say, guess what happens? Suddenly, nobody's recommending my videos. That's kind of weird. I want what's best for the country. I don't want to play games on here and say things that I don't believe in order to get people to watch. And nor do I want to please the corporate masters. It's not my job. I do have an obligation to Tulsi Gabbard supporters, and I've made some mistakes along the way, and I've apologized when it was appropriate. But I'm full in. I'm full in because when you, it's kind of like when you go around the neighborhood and you see all of the other things in your neighborhood, and you go, "Oh, I actually was living in a great house. These houses all kind of suck." And I've decided after doing the tour of the neighborhood that even though my house might have a few issues, it's like the best house. And with Tulsi Gabbard, the only problem I had was the fact that, number one, she probably shouldn't have ever ran as a Democrat, but she's trying to reform the Democratic Party. I get it. It's impossible. Jill Stein, she was right. Tulsi Gabbard, unfortunately, here was not right. Maybe she recognizes that now. And then, of course, saying that, hey, I know Joe Biden, I know Jill Biden. And that's the thing with Biden. That's the thing with Biden, at least if you don't do any research. And I, especially with the Hunter thing out there right now, which nobody can talk about. I just said Hunter. Hopefully I'm not going to get, demonetized or whatever, but I'm just going to say Hunter, and there are alternative news sources you can go look for. Those alternative news sources are not mainstream. Your average Democrat is never going to see something from like big league politics. They're not going to see that. You have to look for it. You have to want to know. So those three institutions control the outcome of the election. Your vote, you think your vote is important? It might be to some degree, but the influence that those three institutions have on your vote. I mean, Trump wins in 2016, and what does the intelligence community do to Trump? They invent fake news, and they invent a fake dossier. And then there is a fake collusion thing that happens. And then there's a fake Ukraine thing that happens. And then there's an impeachment that happens. And this went on for a very long time. At the very beginning of our little case-demic that we've been experiencing, right? We were still rubbing our hands together wondering about impeachment. Imagine if you had spent the last 4 years working on bills that would have helped American families, improved the infrastructure of the country, improved access to information, the free flow of information, even information you disagree with. Many on the left, the Keith Olbermann crowd, they don't want you hearing that information. They want that information blocked. They don't look at you. In fact, a lot of those people want revenge on Trump supporters. That's the new thing that's starting to surface. So if Trump loses, then if you voted for Trump, or if you really vigorously supported Trump, probably just voted for Trump, they may come after you. They may dox you. They may make you feel inferior. They make your life. And see, this is the kind of stuff that's like comply or you lose your soul. You know what I mean? If you comply, you're going to lose your soul, but you're going to be able to do the things that you normally do. That's not America. That's not the America that was founded on liberty and free speech and just freedom in general. Corporations. So corporations are buying lots of things for Joe Biden right now. They're buying really good TV ads. There was one that I can't stand that I have to admit is a really good ad. It's not, the family and the Joe Biden understands my family. Didn't go after Trump. Kind of honed in on that blue collar working class thing. I'm sure my friend Charles, his head would explode if he saw that ad, and they were catering to you, Charles. It's like, yeah, Biden's that guy, the guy who sold your jobs out a number of times with these trade bill, North American free trade agreement. I mean, come on, man. You just I had to do that. It's garbage. It's complete garbage. Trump saw a lane in 2016. Now you can debate if he has fulfilled that lane, but he's constantly working. They're constantly debating. I can't believe he's going to do tariffs. So what is he doing? He's going to ruin the economy. He's trying to level the playing field. All right. An old school Democrat would do tariffs. Old school Democrats believed in workers, unions, strong unions, workers' rights, workplace democracy, not, corporations controlling people's lives more than the government even controls them. That's why corporations right now, and I believe in free markets, but if you're a corporation and you're acting like authoritarian governments, this isn't freedom. This isn't free markets. This is, you do what I do if you want to, you do what I say if you work here. And libertarians come along and say, yep, they've got every right to do that. Well, then it's another form of tyranny, because you work 40 hours a week. You're their indentured servant for 40 hours a week. So get over the private sector BS, because the private sector has become more controlling and more authoritarian than your local government in many cases. I mean, face diapers, right? So the government says, okay, in my state, for instance, no mandate. There's no mandate. The counties can decide. So the counties act like local authoritarians. Some of them stick with the mandate. But even worse is, even if there's no statewide mandate, then you go to your local Family Dollar store. Oh yeah, you got to have one of these on before you come in our store. Okay, but you're not the government. Well, CDC says CDC is now my ruling authority. So the whole thing is, bass backwards. So you've got the government bureaucrats that put out narratives to news media. Okay, and that's the third branch of government, the news media. And the news media is the most powerful branch in a way, because they wash people every single day. You call it brainwashing. It's not, it's like brown washing, Charles. I don't know if you ever see this video, but it's like the browning. It's like a pile of poop that they're just throwing at you every day. And you're like this, trying to sift through it. I'm like, I know this is propaganda. I know it's propaganda. I know it's not true. I know there's got to be some people recovering from COVID. They never tell me that, though. And then they're going to lump this year's cases on January 1st, right? They're going to say by February or something of next year, we're going to have 400,000 people dying from this. Okay, but typically you stop on December 31st. And then you start counting for the next year. You don't continue that. But because it's a pandemic, supposedly, everything is just going to be linked together. And it will never end. Media is in control. Media is so, and yes, there is alternative media out there. There are people like me who are being throttled back from gaining new subscribers. By the way, please subscribe to the channel and Patreon. There's a little Patreon logo out there. I need it more because it's just, nobody's watching the videos and then people are dropping off. Yeah, I voted for Trump. If you didn't like that, I'm sorry. I'm still 100% Tulsi Gabbard. More so than ever, because Tulsi would have been See, Tulsi could have used the bully pulpit of the presidency to call out those three branches of government. Just the control of the information that we get, the bureaucrats within the government, and the corporations who are now essentially just telling the government what to do. And you talk about collusion, forget Russia. China's bad, but China's bad because China owns a lot of our debt, and China is in here. China wanted, by the way, China wants Joe Biden because Joe Biden was hoisting champagne glass with those guys a few years ago. Strong China is definitely in our interests. Yeah. Well, guess what? They want to eat. No, not only do they want to eat our lunch, Joe, but they want to run right over us in many regards. They're saber rattling over where? In Taiwan? They seem to want to still do some of those things that countries did years ago where they wanted to take over other countries and so forth. America should just learn to live in peace within our borders, right? But we have neoliberals and neoconservatives who want to be the world's police and go around and tell other countries how to be sovereign. We'll tell you how to be sovereign. You're not sovereign on your own. We make you sovereign. This is why Tulsi Gabbard's foreign policy was so good. Now, Tulsi wasn't completely anti-war, but she was anti-regime change war, and she recognized that there was a huge expenditure that didn't need to be there every single year. And we just increase the budget, and we keep voting for the budget. And if you have a local military base, then you feel bad if you don't vote for the budget. You have to keep voting for the budget. It's like being addicted to drugs. You have to wean off. You have to detox, and it's going to take a while. But the control of our information is disastrous because you don't know if there are third-party candidates. Look, if Joe Jorgensen's campaign had caught fire, I'm like, hey, she could get 30% of the vote, and then she splits the vote three ways. You get out there, and you're like, this is a golden opportunity to put someone in charge who is not part of this, inside bureaucratic nightmare. Trump was a bit of an outsider. That is why he won. Period. Yes, he's bombastic. He's entertaining. Sometimes he's funny. All those things are great. But at the end of the day, we need a little bit of cohesion as a country. All right. We can't just keep going after them, meaning that if you're not them, you're constantly at war with them in your brain. Hey, I answer to a higher authority. So I have been praying and I am at peace. If Biden wins, I'm at peace. I'll see carnage if Biden wins. Like I will see mask mandates. I will see all kinds of things that I do not want. I will see neoliberalism at full strength. Neoconservatism actually under Biden. Neoconservatism and neoliberalism all working together to screw the working class long term. This BS marketing that they've been doing, that they're kind of like Trump, they're kind of like America first, and we'll make, protective medical equipment here in the United States. I think Trump's already doing that, right? They got ads running. We'll make sure we make PPE here in the United States. What about kids who are going through like crazy psychological torment with wearing these diapers on their faces for hours and hours? People need oxygen, Joe, and everybody else. Anyway, and then you got corporations. Corporations. Again, the libertarians out there hate it, but I'm going to keep saying it. Corporations have power. Private corporations have the kind of power that governments don't have. And if the government says you don't have to do something and the corporation says you do, and you obey the corporation because you're so beholden to a monopoly, then guess what? Laws need to come down the pike quickly and change that monopoly and make it so there is competition. There should be a corporation across the street that says, hey, you don't have to do that. Come over here. And then they all go lockstep with, some mandates, even if your state says no. And again, what happened to the 10th Amendment? I don't know. It gets canceled. The 10th Amendment gets canceled because a corporation says, no, we're not doing that. And you say to yourself, but I thought states had rights, and those rights go back to the people in the states. But apparently they don't. They go to the corporation. It's madness. And if you really just be honest with yourself, between the media, the government bureaucrats, and the corporations, we almost have zero power. We almost have no control and no power. Because if you turn on media or you go out to a store, you're going to be beholden to all of those thoughts and things. You're going to have to be so independent minded and so Teflon in your approach that, you're going to have to meditate. You have to go off on your own, pray, read your book, your holy book, whether that's a Bible or another book. Just the words themselves might soothe you from the inside. And I would recommend that. But I'm at peace. I'm totally at peace. I have to take care of my family. I've got one young child and 2 teenagers in my midst. And I love those kids, and I want their world to be all right. Their world does not look good. But it doesn't mean I shelter. It means that I just let them know what's happening in the world, and I'm honest with them. What they're being told through media and at their schools, at least 2 out of 3 of them, is really bad stuff. And it actually doesn't jive with reality. And as a parent, it's been really difficult for me to be the filter and be the truth teller and to counteract with that, because I do this during the day, and then I have another channel that's quite popular. I do that, and then I've got other responsibilities. And then after dealing with this all day, then I'm like, hey, now I've got to do damage control. So I tell them, this isn't up to us until we reform those 3 institutions. Now with media, you need more alternative media. But the thing is, with alternative media, it's not reaching enough people. So you need somebody to launch something with deep pockets to kind of like, it's like a rocket. Once it gets out into space, it'll go forever. You know what I mean? So somebody's got to have deep pockets who understands and gives complete control to those that they put in those positions. And then not I'm thinking like The Intercept with Glenn Greenwald. And then it becomes something that he has to leave. But the information has to change, the kind of information we get. And that dovetails a little bit with censorship. What do you like? I'll just call him AJ. Whether you like AJ or not, AJ should not have been banned. And that was just stupid. That opened up this slippery slope where you have people on the left and the right now who are saying things. You got people talking about certain medicines that might help you during this case-demic. Can't talk about those. A lot of things. I did a video, things you can't talk about. Government bureaucrats, whoever the president is, and Biden will never do this. Trump might do it if he gets a second term. I hear he's thinking about doing lots of firings. The FBI, here, we've got the hard drive. Oh, okay. Nothing here to say. We'll wait till after the election to really? You're going to wait? Okay, that's great, because that you're going to change history by waiting. That makes a lot of sense. But all these bureaucrats, the FBI, the CIA, these agencies, they're running the country with the help, because they're the ones that push all the propaganda out to the news media. And then the corporations, again, have more control over your life than your local government. Um, they impact you every single day, whether you use Amazon or Walmart or pick a corporation that has gotten bigger during the last few months because of what's been happening. This does not help your mom and pop business. This destroys your bars, your restaurants, the places where we used to go to kind of enjoy ourselves. It's destroying those things. I'm not going to go to an Amazon warehouse and have a party, you know? Am I happy that they put my thing on the porch and it didn't break? Yeah, it's a good service. Good for them. But they shouldn't be controlling everybody's life because they figured out a way to be efficient and, provide jobs. Good for them again. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm okay with a free market, but the free market really isn't free. That's the problem. The free market is about stopping certain political speech, or if you're going to be disengaged from somebody because they disagree with you, and then they dox you, or then this is a crazy world. We used to kind of keep our politics to ourselves to some degree, but we can have conversations with other people about what we agree with. But as soon as people find out, oh, you're on that side? Oh, no. I thought you were like us. Well, we were going to, allow you to use PayPal, but now you can't use PayPal anymore. It's like, what? What? That was really a good service. Yeah, it is a good service. We're going to hold that over your head. If you start to think more like us, maybe we'll reinstate your account. Wow. I never thought I'd see stuff like this. So, on election day or the day after or the day after or the day after, because supposedly in some states they can count ballots for another like 20 days or something. So your Thanksgiving will be ruined. By the way, it's going to be ruined anyway because you can't really get together because they don't want you to, because you're going to have super spreader events. You got old people serving food to younger people and so forth, and get tested. That's more testing. That's the cure to everything. Nope, it's not. But we're doing a lot of testing as it is. That's why we have a lot of cases, because we do a lot of tests. But no, this is going to go on for weeks and might ruin your Christmas. Although they'll probably, you see, whatever happened to 15 days to slow the spread and flatten the curve. Remember those things? It's never going to end. People early on, there were a few people in alternative media who said this lockdown ain't going to ever go away. Even if you get a vaccine, I mean, you're still going to have people that don't take the vaccine, and then they're going to be looked at as criminals and so forth. Wow. I mean, the brave new world. This is why I'm concerned about my children and the world that is about to break loose like hell. All hell will break loose either way on November 3rd and 4th. And yeah, I'm at peace to some degree, though. And we'll just stay the course and hope that Tulsi Gabbard runs for president as an independent in 2024. And I will be there on day one. She should announce her run for the presidency 1 or 2 days after the election results, or when they declare a winner or whatever. Just do it right there. Get a head start. And no, this isn't a joke. No, I'm serious. And yes, our political system is broken. And the three things she needs to focus on: government bureaucrats, corporations, and the media, which are all kind of the same thing. All right, I'm done. Aloha. Talk soon.